So let's do a quick tour of the structure inside MapSAR when you open it up. On the left-hand side, this is our table of contents. We have everything fairly well ordered here into different categories. Starting at the top, we have the incident group with a little plus mark next to it, which you can expand. In this group, we have places that we can capture information. So we have information about our reporting party, and it's just a table that we can uh, edit and enter data about their information, their contact information, their phone number, who they were, what relation they may have had to our missing person. Incident information, which is the basics of the name of the incident, the date it started, the declination of the incident, what scale you would like to use, whether you want to use kilometers or miles. PLS subject information. So this is our information associated with the person that is missing that we're looking for. Operational periods. This is where we keep all our operational period data, including the incident command staff for those operational periods, weather associated with that operational period, and other information. The information that we all really want to be able to put in there, which is the subject found, and that's the location of the subject. The next group we call incident assets. So these are assets that we can put out there on the map to show the location of different items, whether that be a heli spot or a hazard or a fire vehicle or a camp, radio relays, etc. It's a good way to keep track of what assets you have out in the field and where they are. The assignments group will be the core of our incidents. When we create assignments, they're going to be assigned to a crew, which is a team, and then they're going to be executed, completed, tracked, debriefed, etc. So assignments is the main layer in here. Assignments DDP is a data-driven page layer. It's actually used administratively by our map printing process, and you don't need to really do anything with this layer. The debrief is a place that we can enter debriefing information for each of the incidents once they're completed. Teams group, we have teams and team members. So this keeps track of all the team members which you have available to you or have been part of an incident. And the teams are what we actually assign to an assignment. So each assignment gets a team, and we can keep all sorts of information in these, which we'll see in another video. Resource team status is a way of keeping track of where our teams are and what they're doing in the field, whether they're simply on assignment and continuing, whether they're waiting for a pickup, whether they're staying in for the night, whether they're gone out of service on the way back to the CP, etc. So when the teams check in and you get a coordinate for where they are, this can be entered on the map and you can visually see where all the teams are on the map. Clues group. This shows all the clues that have been found in the field. We've assigned relevant, unknown, and not relevant to our clue status, and the symbol will appear appropriately on the map, whether it's a relevant or not relevant clue. Obviously, a clue that is unknown can turn into not relevant or relevant depending on further information. We have ways here we can just show only the relevant clues, just the unknown, or just the not relevant. So just a quick way of displaying clues on the map. Cell pings will be if we're actually tracking pings from cell towers, and these will be our cell tower locations that the pings were received from. DF stands for direction finder, and if we're using ELPers out there for a downed aircraft, or we're using some other locator beacons where we're tracking directions, azimuth on a compass, we can use this class here to track that, and we've got them broken out into very weak signals to very strong signals, so you can start to triangulate on the map. The GPS tracks and routes. So this is where we upload all our GPX logs and GPS logs too. Routes actually is are tracks, but they're both tracks and routes, meaning that they can be hand drawn. So it's not necessarily technically a track, but you could have one of the crew members draw where they believe they went to on the map. So we've got a hand drawn option, GPS, and we've broken out aircraft and helicopter so we can separate those and not make our map too messy once you get some aircraft tracks on it. Again, these are just options for just showing the ground tracks or just showing the helo tracks, etc. Scratch lines and point are just placeholders that you can use if you need to draw something on the map quickly, but it's not necessarily associated to anything. You might be using it just to diagram something on the map, so we can go through the usage of these. The segments group shows your search segments. So we have two layers, or three layers actually. We have search segments, which is once you've drawn the segment, it'll change the symbology of that segment depending if it's been in progress, completed, or not searched. And it'll change the hash symbology on the segment depending on how many times someone has been through that segment searching it. We also have a POA, which will display in color the POAs for each segment. So as you assign values, it goes from red to 100 all the way down to a very light green for 0. So that'll display it on the map for you. The search segments outline is exactly the same as the search segments, but rather than filling in with this symbology, it just fills in with an outline symbology so it's easy to see on the map, if you especially have other data. Air operations is where you can enter information and give to the air ops IC. So whoever's coordinating that, you could actually assign team members and weights and baggage for, say, a helo load. The radio log is more of a historical log. You can't really use this in real time. There's just too much information coming in to tie up the GIS specialist with entering radio log information. But if it's entered into a spreadsheet, we can upload that into the incident at a later time. That way it's all archived in a central location. Hidden layers admin only. These are used for with some scripting so that we can reference different layers easily. So just leave these alone. No need to touch them. Reports group is empty at this time. Incident analysis, we have a search boundary in here which you can draw, and there's some other analysis tools available you can use for creating search boundaries. And the base data group is empty, but it's important that when you start adding base data to your group, to your incident, that you store everything nested underneath this base data group. This is how data is moved around between the templates to assure that whatever base data you're using is printed correctly on the templates.